Hare Krishna, Namaste, Chapter 8, entitled as Akshara Brahma Yoga. Sloka 5. Anta-kāle cha mam eva smaran muktvā kalevaram prayāti mad-bhāvaṁ yāti nāsty atra saṁśayaḥ. This verse answers Arjuna's last question, that is, at the time of death, in what manner should one think of you? Let's see the word by word. Anta-kāle cha, even at the time of death. Mameva, of me alone. Smaran, remembering. Kalevaram muktvā, leaving the body. Yah, he who prayāti, departs. Saha, that worshipper. Mad-bhāvaṁ, my nature. Yāti, achieves. Atra, regarding this. Saṁśayaḥ, doubt. Nāsty, is not. Translation. And whoever at the end of his life quits his body, remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt. Here, the principle that's been told is one should remember Krishna at the time of death to attain what they aspire for. One might aspire Aishwarya, wealth, or one might aspire Kaivalya, or one may aspire for Krishna himself. Irrespective of whatever they aspire from Krishna, at the time of death, they have to remember Krishna in that particular nature, swabhava, so they can attain that they aspire for. Here Krishna says, mad-bhāvaṁ, my nature or my state, that person attains. So the question might arise that if I think about Krishna, remember Krishna and think about Krishna at the time of death, do I become Krishna, Brahman, Parabrahman? Or if not, do I become another Parabrahman, another absolute truth? The answer to both of these questions is no. That person simply attains what he desired for. His meditation at the time of death is based on what he desired from Krishna. If he is interested in Aishwarya, he gets that which is equal to Krishna. Even this doesn't mean that now this person becomes the lord of both material and spiritual world. The maximum he can get is something like Brahma. But this Jivatma who aspired for Aishwaryam, the wealth of the Lord, he cannot become Jagatpati, he cannot become Shriyapati, he cannot become Vaikuntanath, he cannot become Paramatma. None of these things he gets. He gets some aspect, some qualities that Krishna possesses. Whereas if someone is interested in Kaivalyam, Mokshanandam, he gets it, that's equal to Krishna. Here, he gets those 8 qualities. He becomes sinless, ageless, deathless, without grief, without hunger, without thirst. He becomes blissful, and his desires are instantly fulfilled. And for someone who wants Krishna alone, Krishna gives himself to that person. So the point we should be carefully noting down here is mad-bhāvaṁ does not mean one becomes God. When it says mad-bhāvaṁ means my state, my nature, does not mean that one becomes God by thinking God at the time of death, nor one becomes a second God, second Parabrahman. That is also not what's been mentioned here. Moreover, it cannot be true because there are different grades of devotees who pray to Krishna and remember Krishna at the time of death in different ways. For all of them who differs in their choices, Krishna is not going to give the same result. He is going to give what they aspired for, what they desired for. In that way also we can understand this term mad-bhāvaṁ. That is, some aspect of Krishna will be given to those respective people who remembers him at the time of death. Acharyas have given the classic example of Adi Jada-bharata. At the time of death, Jada-bharat's mind was dwelling on the deer, and he attained deerhood in his next life. Not that he became deer. Atma is always Atma, but then he simply attained the deerhood. When this example has been said, Shankaracharya therefore says that this is called aikyapati, meaning becoming one with God or becoming God himself. Because Jada-bharata remembered deer and he became deer. If you remember God at the time of death, therefore you will also become God, is what Shankaracharya's point over here. Whereas Sripad Ramanujacharya asks the question, did Jada-bharata became the same deer or a different deer? Well, the answer is, we know he did not become the same deer. He took another deer body. So from this we can understand that just by thinking God, not that we become God. That is not what has been told here by this example. Well, maybe he did not become the same God, same Parabrahman. Maybe he became a second Parabrahman. If that is an argument is being placed, then there are two faults in it. Number one, then Advaita philosophy becomes wrong. Because as per Advaitam, there is only one Parabrahman. There cannot be a second. And the second reason this cannot be true is that Shastra never accepted a second absolute truth. The absolute truth is always one. There cannot be a second one. Parabrahman is one. So, the answer is Jada-bharata received a body of deer, not the same deer's body, but born in the deer's caste. One might ask another question. Jada-bharata was such a great soul, and have done so many pious deeds, how come those punya karma that he did not save him from getting this dear body? Answer is, whatever one remembers at the time of death, one will surely attain that. After he attains, the punya karma will continue. The punya karma will not interfere in the time of death program. After one gets his next body, based on whatever his thoughts were at the time of death, then punya karma resumes its effect on that person. Like in this case of Jadabharata, he remembered the deer and he got a deer body, but all his pious deeds helped him later a body of a Brahmana boy. Here in the Sloka, another important word that to be noted in the first line is cha. Anta-kāle cha mām-eva. That is, one should remember Krishna at the time of death. But Krishna uses a term, word cha, meaning even at the time of death, one should think only about Krishna. So the word even means that not only when you're dying you should remember Krishna, throughout your life you should have remembered me. If you have remembered me throughout your life, it becomes your nature to remember me at the time of your death. That's what Krishna mentions here. Anta-kāle cha mām-eva smaran muktvā kalevaram. At the time of death, even at the time of death, while leaving the body, he who departs with his thoughts focused on me alone attains my disposition accordingly. Anta-kāle cha mām-eva smaran muktvā kalevaram prayāti mad-bhāvaṁ yāti nāsty atra saṁśayaḥ. Namaste. Hare Krishna.